morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 227 as we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals wrapping up and the Stanley Cup as well. We also have some weekend news. Other people from other countries coming to America and realizing America is awesome? Yes, no shit. We're a part of that. The UFC fight at the White House and Brendan Sorsby could have done something from the start, but instead allowed us for 4 podcasts to talk about it. We'll talk about what he did. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's get it started.
Yeah. I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Socks.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm getting Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, I warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes. All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
All right. Thank you so much for watching Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 227. And I got Mr. Tim Cook today. Roscoe is somewhere in this house. Lisa cannot join us today. We have the NBA Finals starting us off. That wraps up. I'm going to move it over to Mr. Tim Cook. How did this whole thing end?
Well, on Saturday night, the key, I think, is, and it's been like this for the whole series, Spurs get out to a big lead, and they can hang on.
Yeah.
For the 5th consecutive game, the Spurs had a big lead again, as much as 16 points Saturday night, and they just couldn't hold down the stretch. I think the Spurs going forward need a veteran for this team. I just think they have too many young ones on there. I heard a rumor today that they might be trying to go after Rui Hachimura, the Lakers. Okay, a person who can shoot the three, but also a veteran presence on the team. I think they definitely need somebody like that for ending games. They could take advantage of Cat fouling out in the fourth. They didn't go inside. Wemby looks tired again. That's one thing, and that's the bad deal. Wemby's not going to get a whole lot of off-season recovery. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs to bulk up a little bit. He's only 22. I get that, but he just looks tired. He looked tired. It seems like he comes out with a house of fire in the first and second quarters, and at the end, by the fourth quarter, he's drained. He stick a fork at him. He's throwing the ball away, costly turnovers. It's just. But he did have 19 points and 14 rebounds. Again, he said he had turnovers late in the game. The Knicks only scored 37. This game, when we text back and forth in the first half going into the third quarter, it might be a 1990s game between, let's say, the Knicks and the Pacers. I mean, the score, they only scored 37 points in the first half. And it was just, they were letting them play. They were letting them bang. It was just a physical game. And I think that might be a little bit of why the San Antonio just couldn't get over the hump. I think they were tired at the end. For the Knicks, Brunson, he just takes over again. 45 points. He sealed his. I don't think he gets MVP without this amazing fourth quarter where he scored 15 of his 45 points. He had 15 points. The team had 29 in the fourth quarter. Yeah. I mean, he just took over. He was not letting this team lose. I'm telling you. And he's done this all year, the whole playoffs series, even the playoff season. He is just willing them. And for somebody that as short as he is at 6'2" or maybe 6'4", I'm telling you, man, he wanted to win it. He wanted to win it bad. In closing of the finals, the Spurs outscored this is a great stat I looked at. The Spurs outscored the Knicks by 57 points in the first quarter. Out of the next 3 quarters, the Knicks outscored the Spurs outscored them by 70 points in the last 3 quarters. That's just tough. You can't recover from that. They start out really good, and they just kind of fizzle. That just shows it right there. Spurs coach, Mitch Johnson, couldn't find the right lineup. He couldn't find, he just couldn't stop the bleeding. And Jalen Brunson, his name is in New York history right now. I think he ain't going to have to buy a drink or buy a meal in that town for a very, very long time. He's just an animal. He was just an animal this whole series, this whole playoff. And they deserve it. 53 years. I'm glad they won. I was rooting for them. I was like, yeah, let's. I'm glad they won.
Yeah, I agree. And we text back and forth, and they were destiny. right? Just coming
Yeah.
back from 29 points and all this stuff. I definitely agree. I think Jalen Brunson sealed up the MVP, definitely with the last game, but the game before.
Yeah.
Like taking over at the end of that one. But I want to go on the Spurs side. I definitely think they need to get someone veteran, and DeAndre Fox is not that guy.
No.
He sucks.
And he did away with his San Antonio Spurs, their website or their Instagram. Yeah. So you know that he's not coming back. And then why would they? Why would you? You got Dylan Harper. That was another thing again. He doesn't play Dylan Harper in the fourth quarter. Now, don't to say that.
Well,
this coach, I think, I'm telling you right now, if they don't do well next year, he might be on the hot seat.
Well, Dylan Harper's the one that missed the layup.
Right. But
So
he's still playing. You got to figure he's a rookie too. So, I mean, or a second-year vet, or a second-year guy. I think give him the opportunity. I think he's going to play good. And like I said, Darren Fox, he's done. He's going somewhere else.
Well, and that's where, like, when Chris Paul joined the Spurs back a couple years ago, and or last year, and that's where it was really good for Wemby to have that veteran. You need that now. I also think
they didn't have him. Too bad they didn't have him.
Well, you got Castle there, you got Harper, you got a lot of young talent, and I think there will be an asterisk to them because I think they're going to make a run. That's a force to be reckoned with for a team. Wemby is the truth. Wemby is going to be very, very good. And don't get me wrong, he's still getting used to the NBA, right? There was a lot of physicality in this NBA Finals.
Yes.
And that's not how they play over in Europe and things like that. So I do think that he's getting a step forward. But yeah, I mean, Jalen Brunson comes down on a Wemby's foot, rolls his ankle, and then you see him walking out after the game, and he's limping. But you couldn't tell that because he puts 15 points up in the fourth quarter. So I definitely think the Spurs will be a team to be reckoned with. Don't get me wrong. OKC's out of the West. The Lakers are still out of the West with whatever they do. You got the Nuggets. There's teams that are going to come from that West. Yeah. So they don't have an easy ride. Now, at the same time, the Knicks will have Boston coming back, the Pacers coming back. Like, there's teams so it felt like everything just worked out perfectly for the Knicks to get in there. Boston wasn't the team that they were supposed to be this year. The Pacers never got Halliburton back, right? There just was steps that allowed them there, but they deserve. Well,
and there's another thing, Anthony. A lot dictates where Giannis goes next year.
True.
If he goes to the Celtics right now, I think the Celtics are the number 5 choice as far as betting favorite. If they get Giannis, which they're talking to Giannis, they go to probably, I don't know if they'd be the overall favorite, but they're a lot closer.
Well, him and LeBron James.
Yep.
If LeBron James ends up in a Golden State uniform, if he ends up back in Cleveland, if he ends up in, like there's these other Spurs.
Right.
There's a lot or retires. Even if he retires, that changes the West a little bit as well, too.
Oh, most definitely.
So, NBA Finals wrapped up, but so did the Stanley Cup this weekend. So we got to go back to Thursday because we recorded before the games happened. Thursday, Carolina would take a win at home 4-2 to take a 3-2 lead in the series. Golden Knights would get the first goal, but Carolina would score 4 before Golden Knights could even score again. Bussy just looked really good. I mean, just absolutely a wall out there. But the talk of this Thursday night game was Golden Knights defense. It wasn't the goalkeeper giving up goals. It's just their defense was nowhere to be found when it would become time for a shot. So things will change, right? We go into Sunday. If Golden Knights win, they take it into Game 7. But if Carolina would win on Vegas Ice, they win it all. Tort makes this comment before the game that he ain't planning on coming back to Vegas, right? Or he was going to leave his clothes in Carolina after Game 5, right?
Yep.
Well, Carolina dominated this game. Winning 3-0, Bussy stood on his head and dominated. If he's not the goalkeeper next year for Carolina starting, he's starting somewhere else. He played way too good in the Stanley Cup Finals to not be somewhere starting every day. But I think, again, the moral of the story was Golden Knights were just not ready. Their defense was out of whack. I mean, the first goal that Hall scores, he comes off the bench and he's wide open. And then he takes a breakaway to score. Like, it just felt like this is what we'll say John after Torts after. Yeah. I just felt like he didn't scheme for them after Bussy became the goalie. It just felt like, well, we won the first or whatever 2 out of 3 games. Right. we're fine. No, it was a whole different series once Bussy came in, and they didn't even change anything. So Golden Knights would obviously lose this game. Carolina would win. Really cool to see the coach for Carolina, I can't think of his name,
Oh, Rod Brindamore.
do the same celebration he did when he won with Carolina as a goalkeeper. Very cool to see all that.
I'll tell you what, Anthony, not to interrupt you. That guy's chiseled, man. He took his shirt off in the locker room and held up that Stanley Cup. Holy Christ.
Yes.
That guy's built.
Well, and I'll say, it doesn't look like he takes a day off. Let's just say that.
No.
So, and if your coach is bringing that much energy and that much motivation, might be a little easier to play. Also, comment after the game was Stahl's daughters were at the press conference, and Stahl goes, "Any other questions?" And the daughter raises her hand, and so he was like, "All right, ask a question." So she asked the question, and then she goes, "Why did you fight that guy in game 1 of the first series?" And it caught Stahl so off guard, and he goes, "We'll talk about that on later, honey." Like,
Nice.
so there's some celebrating to be done in Vegas there. But today we found out that John Tortorella won't be returning to the Golden Knights. Now, remember, he joined them with, 18 games left of the season?
Yep.
So it was final or Stanley Cup or bust, obviously now, showing that. I also think there's a little consideration of how there wasn't any changes made, like I said, from game 5 to game 4, game 5, game 6. I mean, Carolina pretty much did what they did throughout the whole playoffs. They lost a couple games or lost a game, and then they took over and just did what they needed to do. Congrats to the Hurricanes. They definitely deserve it. I also think, just how we talked about the NBA, things just kind of fell in peace for them to get there. Remember, you got Florida coming back. You got Tampa coming back. Austin Matthews didn't play much after the World Championship or whatever, or Olympics. I'm sorry, after the Olympics. Yeah. Right, so there was there's a lot of players that could change this series. Congrats to Carolina, though. Anything else about hockey?
Defense wins championships. I don't give a shit what sport it is. Defense wins championships, and their defense outlasted that great Knights offense. So defense wins championships. I don't give a shit what sport you're in.
I know, but we never learn from it. And what I mean by that is, you went into it being like, it's going to be Vegas. And I'm like, it could be Vegas because that offense is so dominant.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Stanley Cup finals and really just playoffs, it becomes where that puck drops sometimes. I mean, think about how some of these games went where it hit off the wall a certain way, hit off the back of the goalie. It's just luck sometimes, but defense can be a ground you can stand on.
That, and if you got a great goaltending, you can go very, very far.
Yeah, and I think that's hard because I don't think Hart for Vegas played that bad. It's just the defense set him up for bad situations.
Right.
And the other one is Eichel. Eichel's got to play better going forward. Yeah. Like, didn't score in the Stanley Cup. Didn't score. Like, you can't be the number one and not get a goal in.
Right.
All right, well, that is the NBA and the NHL, so we'll move on to the weekend news. Europeans coming to America, realizing America is awesome. So, if you haven't been watching, the World Cup has been going on. I really haven't watched much of the World Cup, but what I have been is on social media. And watching some of these people post things about America has been absolutely hilarious. People going to Buc-ee's and being like, why do they have so many gas stations? Oh, wait, because we have a lot of damn people, okay? Why is there a beaver standing outside on steroids? Because we love our animals.
Right.
The one guy, from Germany, ate at a Waffle House, said that the people were absolutely amazing to them. Well, that's not a true Waffle House experience because you didn't get to see a fist fight.
Right.
And then the stadiums. A lot of them have talked about how great the stadiums are. Now, they are our NFL stadiums, and they are nice. But also at the same time, this is just one sport. You should see our basketball arenas. You should see our baseball stadiums. You should see all these. We love our sports. Now, for all these Europeans coming, I'm going to take a little bit off of KFCs. It is great. We're Americans. We love our freedom. We love having all this. We love our fast food. We love our sports. We love our gas stations. Our politicians are probably corrupt. Okay? We got White Houses hosting fights because that's what we do now. Okay? But at the same time, don't act like you didn't know that we were awesome. There's a reason that so many people want to live here and why we still want to live here. It's a great country. Have you seen any of this on social media?
I seen the one where the guy's talking to the Uber driver.
Yeah, I
And
sent
they're
you that.
kind of getting into it on that one as well, you know.
Yeah.
And that one's hilarious. But yeah, I seen a couple of them. They're hilarious. And I mean, you got to remember, some of these are in poor countries that this might be their only chance of getting over here and even seeing the sights and sounds of the United States. So
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. I'm glad we got to host it. But yeah, I these are hilarious.
Well, and I think it's been cool too, because even seeing some of these people being like, these cities are not close.
Right.
Like, yes, in Europe, you can get on a train and go to a whole different country. You don't go from a train to a different country around here.
They're
you-
safe for that.
You don't even you really don't even do that. You fly.
Right.
You want to go from LA to Florida? You're flying
No,
because
for sure.
you're going to be here for a week on that train.
Right.
So it's been really cool to see, obviously, and it also just brings a little pride. I did see this. There's a mathematical chance that England and US play each other on July 4th.
Oh wow, that'd be awesome.
250 years after our independence, we light up those red coats one more time. Now, to be honest with you, we're off this high right now of us beating Paraguay.
Paraguay, yeah. Paraguay.
Okay. U.S. looks dominant right now. It takes a
Right.
week before they play again. I did see that. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. The person that posted this was British, and he was like, they're going to make it so that on their 250th birthday celebration, they
Right.
come and play us in the game that we love the most, and they could give
Yeah.
two shits about.
Right.
Also, too, for everybody that's in this country for the World Cup, you guys get to see the Nathan's hot dog contest, where you get to see Joey Chestnut shove so many goddamn glizzies down his throat.
Right.
You guys will be amazed by that. And then you guys got to see the UFC fight, which we'll talk about as well. But yeah, no, I did send you that the French guy
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the Uber and
Yes.
the Uber drive. And I think it had to be a parody. It was, I
Right.
don't think it was actually real, but he's playing Kenny Chesney. And, God bless America, just like
Right.
literally.
Right.
And then he asked him, he goes, how many Super Bowls has France won? And the guy goes, he goes, 0, buddy. Yeah, 0. Like, absolutely hilarious.
I did watch a little bit on was it Sunday, and Germany was down 1-0 to Curacao. Next thing you know, they're up 7-1
Yeah.
on like 8 shots. It's like, oh my god, what just a shellacking. So
Yeah, and I have seen now like more Americans getting a part of like watching soccer and
Right.
then being like, whoa, and they're like doing instant replay and they're like, this guy didn't even touch this guy and he fell.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, hold on. Did you not just watch the NBA Finals?
yeah, right.
There's sports that are very realistic to this as well too. All right. Also this weekend on Sunday night, which we'll talk about that, but UFC had their fight at the White House. From my takeaways, I didn't watch the fights, just not my cup of tea as much, but really cool flyover. I think they call them the Blue Angels. They flew over. Even Dana White, he's up there with Trump, and he obviously just like, holy shit. And it was like, yeah, that was super cool to see. Seeing all the military there, it kind of reminded me of an Army-Navy game where you want to pay your respect to these people that are also putting their lives off for this country. They get to see this atmosphere, but how rowdy they get for something like this is barbaric. UFC is barbaric.
Yeah.
And getting to see military getting excited for that, awesome. Now, the only bad thing about this fight, though, was the distasteful comments. I don't even know who the guy's name is. I don't care.
Yeah.
Talking about Michelle Obama. That's crazy. Now, Dana White, you knew that this guy's made those comments before in the past. So you give him this fight to give that? This is a little bit on Dana White as much as it is on this guy. Also, at the same time, I am glad that Dana White came out and said, we don't roll that way. We don't say things like that. Then start doing that for every other fight as well.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Because I get that there's a different level of testosterone with these fights and stuff like that. And I know there's a lot of adrenaline running. But at the same time, too, you got to be professional as well. So
Exactly.
But anything you watched on the UFC
I
White House?
did not, Anthony. I tried to. I was going to watch it, and then we're playing bocce ball, which I did not tell you. We made it to the semifinals.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, we struggled our first game, and then we kicked ass the next 2 games. We played these 2 kids. I don't know where they're from, and it was really close. We got down 11-9 and got over by that rock. You know where that rock hill is over by Sutton's deal, and we couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
There was one time, Anthony, the ball was on that alley back behind Bob's. I hit it and rolled it with the bling with my ball. He comes right behind it and comes right around it and rolls it with the bling.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's. I think we got tired. Of course, we had a few cocktails, but nothing really,
Labor Day style.
Yeah, exactly. And we played pretty tough. That team ended up winning the championship altogether. They got $250 some dollars.
So am I looking for a new partner? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I think he's retired.
Oh, okay. Who'd you play with?
I think this was a let's defend, because the last time me and him played, we won.
Who'd
We
you
won the
play with?
championship. Bob.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we won his own tournament. Well, we started doing good, and you had heard ringers. Yep, he's going to win his own tournament. We're not going to play. He had 21 teams.
That's a pretty solid Sunday afternoon.
Yes, it is, and probably about 13 of them were young kids.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
So, and it was a Jimmy Buffett theme.
Yeah.
So everybody wore legs. It was really cool. He's playing the music. It was good. It was a good time. But yeah, we made it to the semis.
Yeah, I will say that's the one thing about Toluca is no matter carnival and whatever situation and stuff, that bocce ball, COVID can't take bocce ball away.
Right.
A world pandemic can't take away bocce ball when it comes to Labor Day weekend for that.
No.
Well, and then the other news from this weekend, and actually kind of hit more of Monday morning, was Brendan Sorsby is going to be going to the NFL supplement draft. Now, in case you don't know what this is, which I really didn't know what this was, this is for players whose NCAA eligibility has changed between the current year's draft deadline and the preseason. It is believed that he will be selected by who, though we don't know yet. It will be decided. This obviously comes as we've been talking about it on this podcast. If you've been listening or watching, the Big 12 just can't put up with this. Texas Tech is getting under fire every day about this. They actually had a meeting before he made this decision, and I think they pretty much told him, all right, we can't do this. We're taking too much heat. Brendan Sorsby now coming to the NFL, he will get a shot. I do think that there's going to be some teams that say, I don't know, with all this. But what did you think when you heard about this?
It was. I think there was too much publicity for Texas Tech. I think they had to step in and say, okay. They finally had to say, okay, we've got the Texas Attorney General involved. The league is involved. Everybody is involved with this. We don't need this bad publicity. And now there's talk of teams that were pulling out, blah, 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 blah. I think it was too much for them. I really don't know if anybody drafts them. I really don't know if anybody takes a flyer on them because of this gambling deal. I don't know if any team wants to stick their neck out. That's a very hot topic right now. I don't know if there's any teams that will stick their neck out to draft him in a supplemental draft. I really don't know. They got to see more. I think they got to see more out of this kid. Not just because he went 30 days in a rehab. I think they got to see more out of him.
Well, and NFL money is different too. Let's be real.
Exactly.
He was going to make $5 million, but at Cincy and Indiana, he wasn't making shit, and he was spending this amount of money. So, what do we find out once he gets NFL money? If I was Brendan Sorsby, I would not go to the NFL supplement draft. Here's why. I would do the USFL. I would do one of these because your name is bringing a lot of publicity with it, which is good and bad. You can bring a lot of attention to a different league because I agree with you. The report that I read, 4 executives said that he would be drafted. So a lot of them said that they were pretty decisive that he will get picked. I just think why would I not get to choose where I want to go? And then if you're playing in the USFL, if you're as good as what you're supposed to be, you're playing. You're not playing in the NFL. Right. There's not one NFL team now that needs a quarterback because that's all been decided. There's teams now like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins and all these teams that have went and did what they needed to do that they have backups on third strings, on fourth. There's not anyone going to take that. At the same time, I say that, watch the Browns. go get him because they have no will of good faith or whatever. So it'll be a Brandon.
Anthony, here's another deal. I don't know if the NFL wants him. I don't not just an NFL team. I don't know if the NFL wants him. They don't want that publicity hanging over their head. They're all. I can't believe four. I can maybe believe four executives, but does Roger Goodell want this guy in his league?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big question. Do you want this following in your league? They might say, you know what, maybe sit out of here. Like you said, go play the USFL. Maybe, like you said, CFL, wherever. Go play somewhere else, but for a year. And then, after everything cools down, then try to reapply.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if Goodell wants him.
Well, and I just say it, too, because if he goes and plays somewhere else, then when the time comes where, say he has a great season,
right,
and, whoa, this guy can play in the NFL, then you get to choose where you go. When you leave it up to this draft, don't get me wrong, if you're a first rounder or if you're not a quarterback, I would rather just get to pick the team I want to go to instead of getting picked by a team that you're going to sit on the bench. I mean, what if Baltimore says they want him? Well, what if Buffalo says you think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, like you're not playing. Yeah. So I just think it would be a better decision to go that way. He might also still make that decision because just because he goes into this doesn't mean that he, gets signed or decides to keep staying there. So I just think this whole thing could have been decided from day one.
Yeah.
And now, like, after all the bad publicity, which the Big 12 was not backing down after the AG's comments. We got that the day we recorded. But after that, the day after, Big 12 was like, yeah, we saw it. And it was like, they are not like, and you have to, because again, the world revolves around money. And even while one person's getting a lot of money, the conference gets a lot more money. And they weren't going to put up with it. Yeah. And how do you do it? And I even Kirk Herbstreit was on Dan Patrick, and he was like, this shit is getting out of hand. And then Rich Rodriguez was on Pat McAfee's on Friday, and he was like, well, I guess you just got to find a local judge. He made a comment towards it. Everyone was making a laughing joke about it. So Texas Tech, why would you ride or die for one person? Yeah. Do you think, and I guess this is my question to you, is if you were the AD at Texas Tech, if I told you Brandon Sorsby is going to win you a national championship, would you go through all that publicity? Because it's still going to be stained.
Yes, but you still won a national championship.
But it's stained. Nobody's going to recognize it. Nobody's
because that's the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth. Well, they won it on a crooked quarterback.
Yeah. And I think that's where it came to the point where it was like,
allegedly.
Yeah, let's start using that word. I don't need a lawyer sending me a letter in the mail for our 7 viewers for one of them to.
I mean, we want to be a lawyer.
Yeah, being like, well, we can make some money off. We have no money, guys. Okay?
Don't worry about it.
So you're not going to find much here. But yeah, I agree. I think when you look at it, it's like the good weighed out, the bad weighed out so much more than the good at the end. Where in the beginning, if it just would have went away and we didn't get the Big 12 involved, the NCAA, like you got Georgia talking about it. You got big schools that have their names in the rafters of NCAA football. Yeah. When they were making comments, you were like, Texas Tech, you've been relevant for the past 2 years.
Right.
Like the last time you were relevant was Michael Crabtree. Like it's just
30 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I think they were just, and also too, if you're a parent and your kid gets recruited by Texas Tech, do you go there now? Because there was some fundamental differences. So, but
because you kind of wonder if they're selling their soul to the devil. You know what I'm saying? Just to win a national championship.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. All right. Well, that is episode 227. What's up?
No.
Oh, you say something? Oh, episode 227, when we talked about the NBA Finals, the NHL, the weekend updates. We are taking Thursday off, but we'll be back on Wednesday of next week where we are going to go through the schedules. So we'll start with the AFC North, end up with all these conferences where we're going to talk about the NFL of how many wins we think these teams have. Honestly, I don't remember how we did last year with it. So don't be coming on here thinking you're going to get betting advice on this situation. But if you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all those. Have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you on Wednesday.